What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna head up to Tennessee to a friend's house and we're gonna go watch the second to last Formula One race this season. Ferrari has kind of let me down, but you know what? They're still fun to watch with friends, so we're gonna go do that. But I thought I should take some time to make a video about 5 of the reasons why I bought a Porsche 718 and sold my Corvette. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below, like the video and all that fun stuff. But if you haven't seen before, I owned 2 Corvettes, a C7 Grand Sport, and then just a C5 that I had kind of modded up as a track car. So if you want to go see those, check out the videos on my channel. But I recently sold both of those in order to buy this one car, which is a 2022 Porsche 718 Spyder. And I thought that it'd be a fun video to talk about why I did that, because if you look at it on paper, especially performance-wise, it doesn't really make a ton of sense when it comes to cost and performance. The numbers don't really add up. So I want to talk about the reasons why I made this choice, and then at the end of this, I guess I'm going to talk about whether or not I regret doing this. So let's do it. So I'm going to start with the first and probably the most important reason as to why I sold both my Corvettes for one singular Porsche, which is the financial aspect on both ends. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past 2 years, you'll understand that the car market has gone silly. It's crazy, it's berserk. Now, there are cars that have always appreciated in value, but typically speaking, things like Corvettes don't typically go for more than retail. They're not really like an investment car or something that's going to appreciate substantially, unless they're really old or something like that. New Corvettes don't typically do that. But obviously with this market, my specific Corvette, which I bought at a $20,000 off MSRP when I bought it brand new, brought more than I paid for it in trade-in. So that was one big, huge factor as to why. But then also on the flip side of that, when I bought this car specifically from the dealership that I bought it at here in Huntsville, Alabama, they only charged sticker price, which I know is insane because most people are like, I would never even pay sticker. But in this market, to buy something like this, especially something like this, at MSRP is a big deal. It's really like unusual to have something that is a special Porsche GT car at sticker. So I was able to get this car at sticker and I got more than I paid for my Corvette new, so that worked out perfectly. And then reason number 2 is because I really wanted a convertible. Now, I don't typically like convertibles. In fact, I really think that the Targa setup on C7s, which is what I had, and C6s and C5s and things like that, that Targa setup, which is like a hard top until you take the roof off, that's probably one of my favorite setups for most cars because it looks just as good with the roof on as it does with the roof off, and I really like having the open air experience, and so it was a great compromise between the two. I don't personally think most convertibles look very good with the roof up, unless, you know, it's one of these modern hardtop convertibles or something like that that looks just like a coupe with the roof up. But the Spyder is different. I really like the way the Spyder looks with the roof up, and it's a full true convertible, so I get both of those. So that really played a big factor in wanting to trade the C7 for the 718. And then the third reason doesn't really have so much to do with the car itself as it does with the community around the car. You see, I know that there are stereotypes of Porsche owners. I get that. There's stereotypes with every type of car. And it's not that the Corvette community was bad in any way, but just when you start talking with people who are as enthusiastic about Porsches and things like that, they're typically, you know, you can get a few oddballs out, but there are a lot of really cool people. Everyone that I have run into in my local community, which is, admittedly, I have a fantastic car community here in Huntsville, Alabama. If you live here, it's awesome. Everybody is really cool. But specifically, everybody that I've talked to with Porsches have been always very kind, very helpful. They've always been enthusiastic, not just about their own car. It's not about showing off. It's a lot about this, just the engineering and just loving cars. And I really like that community, and it's been very welcoming, and I really like meeting new people, especially when you get to talk about Porsches. It's really cool. I know that's kind of a silly reason, but it's just one that I wanted to throw in here. Now, I promise the last two reasons are about the car itself, and the second to last reason, number 4, is the way the car looks. I alluded to this when I talked about the convertible aspect of it, but I really think this is one of the best looking modern cars you can buy that's not $1.5 million. I mean, I know that this car is not cheap by any means, but for this kind of price bracket, I really like the way that my C7 looked. I think it looked cool. I'm not really a big fan of the C8s. The Z06 is better, but it's just not for me. But like, Corvettes have always looked good, but they've been more functional. This car is, in my opinion, absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite looking cars on the road, and the fact that you can get one for, I know how this sounds right now, but the fact that you can get one for around $100,000 for something that looks this exotic, like it's kind of like, I like to think of it kind of as like a baby Carrera GT, kind of Speedster, 911 Speedster-ish style, which the top mechanism and like the rear hatch and everything are pretty much identical to the Speedster, so you kind of have that going for it. But like, I really think it's a great looking car. I really love the way it looks, and the interior is not super ultra modern. Like, there's a lot of things that could be updated on it, but it's minimalist, and everything just works and does exactly what it should in the best way possible. All of everything is laid out really comfortably. It's a nice place to sit, and then, like I said, it looks fantastic to me. And then the last, most important, and I think just the biggest reason of all as to why I traded my C7 Grand Sport Corvette for a Porsche 718 Spyder is because of the way that it drives. This car drives so much, just, I don't know, it's just better in every way. Everything feels a little bit tauter, more put together. It's extremely well built. It's very comfortable. But just this small, I have always loved the 718s. I've always loved actually the Boxster and Caymans in general. I think they're a fantastic car for a mid-engine small platform like this. It's fantastic, and there's really not much else out there that drive, as far as enthusiastic drivers' cars, are much better than this. And that's the biggest reason why this is the best of that platform. This has the 4-liter flat 6, naturally aspirated, and makes a little over 400 horsepower, which is more than enough. I don't really care how fast it is necessarily, but it revs to 8,000 RPM. You just don't get that in the Corvettes. I love Corvettes, and I think that the LS, LT line of motors is probably one of the most important and most popular performance engines on the planet. Like, it's fantastic. I love those cars. They're so cheap to make lots of power, but they don't feel very special. This car always feels special anytime I go anywhere in it. And that's kind of the whole point of it. I don't daily drive it, so when I take it out, I want to feel special. And the Corvette was cool and I liked it, but it just didn't have the same level of enthusiasm with it. It just didn't have this special something that this car has. And that's the biggest reason why I decided to make the huge jump. And now we'll talk about the few of the downsides and some of the reasons why I probably shouldn't have done this. Because at the end of the day, this car cost $120,000, thereabouts. And I bought my C7 Grand Sport brand new off the showroom floor for around $60,000. So that's, you don't have to be a math major to know that that's a factor of 2. This car is twice as expensive as that Corvette was. Is it twice the performance car? Definitely not. Actually, in a lot of ways, this car is not as fast, it's not as good, it's not as well performing on a track as my C7 was. So that goes to show just kind of how much you're trading off for this feel. I know that it costs more money, but to me it's worth spending that extra money because it's just that much better of a driver's car. It may not perform quite as well. You definitely can't make the same kind of power that you can off an LS, but it doesn't matter. Because there's no way you can make an LS feel like this. This car doesn't make that much power, but revving to 8,000 RPM in a car that sounds this good, even with the stock exhaust, I will admit it's not my favorite. It's gonna get changed soon, but it just is so much more special than the Corvette was. And as much as I love that car, I don't miss it. And that's how I know I've made the right choice. This car may cost a lot more money. It's not quite as fast. It's not quite as practical, but I love it. And I would not trade it back for that C7. So I'm at my friend's house. We're gonna go watch this F1 race. I'm probably already a few minutes late. Missed the opening lap. I hope nothing happened, but I'll catch you guys in the next one.